What happens when the zombie apocalypse is unleashed in Springfield? Also, we will see how Bart will force Lisa to take care of his teacher and Moe's betrayal. This intro of The Simpsons starts with Frankenstein coming out of the lab just like the mummy. They meet on the way with Dracula and the werewolf. Everyone loved that day because it was Halloween, the only day they can go unnoticed. Because everyone thinks they're in costumes. They run into some kids who bully them hard for being too old and classic. Due to this, Dracula decides that the solution lies in their costumes. So they enter a costume shop and come out dressed as Iron Man, SpongeBob, Jack Sparrow, and Harry Potter. That SpongeBob costume has to be the best one in my opinion. On the other hand, we see that the Simpson house is having a party for Halloween, and everyone is having a great time. Then the doorbell rings, and we see it's Dracula and his friends dressed up. Marge asks if they're friends of Homer, but Homer clarifies they are not. However, when the vampire shows they brought a bottle of booze, of course Homer welcomes them in. Later, we see that everyone was having a good time, especially since they were with some girls. Then the doorbell rings again, and when Homer opens it, he realizes it's the wives of the classic monsters, who go to their respective husbands to scold them for saying they were only going to kill children. Annoyed, they begin beating up their husbands. Homer steps in the middle of the fight and tells them that if they're in costumes, it doesn't count as cheating. Well, I don't quite get that logic, Homer, but sure. Then the women get angry at him and end up killing him and throwing his head into the punch bowl. That's how the first short begins. Lisa was in her classroom, and the teacher was about to announce who would represent them in the national reading contest. Lisa was convinced she would be chosen, but to her surprise, the teacher picked another student, the Asian one. Lisa got really mad and began insulting both the teacher and the other child. So she ended up being punished and sent to the principal's office with Skinner. While there, she meets her brother Bart, who convinces her to make a deal. He would take care of Lisa's teacher, and she would take care of Bart's teacher, Mrs. Crabapple. After making the deal, Lisa follows Mrs. Crabapple to her house. After confirming that Bart has a solid alibi, she rings the doorbell and hides, thinking that's enough to fulfill her part of the deal. When she gets home, Bart shows her Mrs. Hoover's severed head. Lisa was horrified because she hadn't realized what the deal entailed, but Bart then tells her that a deal is a deal, and she must keep her word. Later, we see Mrs. Crabapple cutting paper with a sharp guillotine. She drops her lighter on the floor and bends her head under the guillotine to reach it. Lisa watches, thinking it's the perfect opportunity. Mrs. Crabapple even asks Lisa to hold the guillotine, trusting her. Lisa steps closer, and Bart, who was watching, urges her to do it, but Lisa couldn't go through with it. What a coward. After this, Lisa was in the girls' bathroom when Bart appears, telling her she has to keep her promise, or Willie the gardener will say he saw her kill her teacher. When she asks why Willie would say that, Bart says it's because he owes him a favour, and then shows Lisa Principal Skinner's head. This boy is completely insane. Lisa freaks out and offers to help him with his homework, but Bart refuses. So, Lisa suddenly grabs the knife from Skinner's head and thrusts it into Bart. With no other choice, she tries to kill him. Thus, begins a wild chase between Lisa and Bart, who wants to kill him. However, when she finally catches him, Bart tells her to finish what she started because they both share the same DNA and are alike. Lisa insists she's not a killer and won't kill him, but then, when she throws the knife, it accidentally lands on Bart's head and the boy dies. Wow, that was an insane shot. Good job! Mrs. Crabapple arrives and congratulates Lisa for what she did, even though Lisa insists it was an accident. But Mrs. Crabapple doesn't quite believe her. She then takes Bart's body, puts it on the wheel.
Ay, caramba, you little snot!
Now, we see a news report from Kent Brockman saying that Krusty Burgers are releasing a new burger called the Squared Burger, which involves taking a cow, processing its meat, feeding it to another cow, then processing that cow's meat and putting it on a 7-grain bun. Yeah, that's some math right there. The Simpson family watches this on TV, and Lisa considers it an abomination, saying it's cannibalism, which, yeah, she's right. The reporter takes a bite of the burger, saying it tastes delicious, but then suddenly turns into a zombie, biting Krusty, who also becomes a zombie.
Check cashing arm, you stupid girl!
This sparks a zombie apocalypse in Springfield. 28 days later, the city is destroyed, and zombies rule everything.
A little tip, you might want to wash me before you eat me.
The Simpson family watches from their house, safely locked inside. Even Homer refuses to let his father in, fearing he might infect them. Difficult decisions require strong wills. Later, in his room, Bart is starving but refuses to eat the fruits and vegetables available. So he sneaks out of the house, goes to Krusty's, and steals a burger, which he eats in his room because what could possibly go wrong? Lisa and Homer realize Bart ate the burger, and Homer rushes to kill him before he turns into a zombie. But then Lisa notices Bart hasn't turned into a zombie. So she believes Bart is the key to making a vaccine and stopping the zombie virus. How great! Homer decides to call the doctor to tell him about Bart. The doctor says to take Bart to the safe zone outside the city. Afterward, the Simpson family tries to leave their house. So they got to be really careful to avoid getting detected.
Oh man, that breeze feels good.
After Homer's lack of discretion, the zombies enter and attack them. Just when they seem trapped, Apu appears in a massive truck and rescues the family, planning to take Bart to safety. After Marge kills Lisa's godmother, the former convenience store owner crashes the truck while trying to reach the safe zone, leaving them stranded on a pile of cars. They have to push the truck, and Apu sacrifices himself to help Bart escape.
Where are you going? You're supposed to stop at the bottom and wait for me.
The family continues, but eventually, the truck runs out of gas, and they have to walk. Homer strays from the group when he sees his boss, who appears dead, but wakes up and bites him, turning Homer into a zombie. Homer returns to his family, and they realize he's a zombie. Bart grabs the shotgun to put him down, but Marge stops him, saying that once they reach the safe zone and find a cure, they can help Homer. Marge, with her kids and zombie Homer, arrives at the safe zone, where everyone starts worshipping Bart as the chosen one. The problem arises when one of the leaders says they need to drink Bart's blood and eat him to survive. But Marge stops them, saying it's sick to eat the blood of their saviour. Who would do such a thing? She believes there must be another solution. Much, much later, we see that the pandemic has ended, and the solution was to bathe Bart in the food of all of Springfield. Wow.
Hey, Lise, want some soup?
Now, we see Moe's Tavern, where the man is hosting a musical while Homer and Marge are getting cozy in the corner. While Moe sings, he says his mother told him he was too ugly to hug. And meanwhile, Barney attempts to drink some beer Moe brewed himself, but the pipes aren't working. So, he heads to the basement to check the issue. As Moe sings and asks Cupid to strike him because he wants to find love, Homer realizes the beer tap is empty and approaches to steal it, but ends up falling into the basement and injuring himself with some pipes. When he goes back upstairs to tell Marge what happened, she looks so beautiful that he decides to lie to her. Telling her that Homer ran away and left her. To try to ease Marge's pain and distract her, Moe offers her a beer, but in the liquid, just by chance, a drop of Homer's blood falls in, which causes Marge, when she drinks it, to like it a lot, so much that she starts singing, since the beer makes her feel quite happy and makes her want more. Then, there are some comments from the audience of the musical, including some aliens. The second act begins. Here we see Marge in Moe's Tavern, and the man tells her that Homer has been missing for a week, and that he bathed and put on cologne. Marge, still sad, tells him she's still waiting for her beloved to return. Then, Moe hands her a handwritten letter, telling her it's from Homer. The letter says that her children will need a father, and the reason for his departure is that he was gay. This confession surprises Marge, and just then, Homer appears and also starts singing, reaffirming how gay he is. Wow. After this song, imagined by Moe most likely, he asks Marge to give him an answer about being together. So, Moe serves the woman a bit of beer, but it's still missing the secret ingredient, Homer's blood. When Moe goes downstairs to get some, he sees the crew changing costumes, so he has to improvise and invites everyone to subscribe to this channel. The scene continues with Moe squeezing more blood out of poor Homer. Moe gives Marge the beer with the secret ingredient, and the woman loves it so much that she immediately forgets Homer. The thing is, Homer saw what Moe was doing with Marge all along, so Homer comes out of the basement, still with the beer tank stuck to him, and he finishes off Moe and finally reunites with his beloved, who now accepts him as half beer and half man. Finally, the entire cast says goodbye. I really liked this episode, especially seeing the family trying to survive a Springfield invaded by zombies reminds me the time they were invaded by immigrants. So everyone in Springfield decide to build a wall. If you want to see what happens, click on this video next, but not before clicking on those like and subscribe buttons.